Hello students, welcome back to the session of poetry. Students, in the last session, we read a beautiful poem, The Echoing Green, written by William Blake. And during that session, I instructed you that you should learn the proper recitation of every poem. For that, I gave you a model reading too. Hope you followed it and enjoyed it, because we should enjoy the poem before studying the poem. So we did the recitation of the poem, we did the critical analysis of the poem, and vocabulary was discussed. Now it's time to do the exercises based on the stanzas. So students, let's do the second part of the poetry session. The Echoing Green by William Blake. A beautiful picture of echoing green. Here green means hare pare maidan. The second part, which includes comprehension questions. First of all, let's revise the poem. The Echoing Green has been taken from Blake's Songs of Innocence. The poem can also be read as man's progress of human life through its different stages. The green, that is, the open green space, comes alive with the cheerful shouts of children and the songs of birds. As the children play, the older people relax under an oak tree. These old people feel happy as they watch the children at play. They are reminded of their own childhood. As old John does laugh away care, he shakes off the problems of his day-to-day life for the time being. He thus shares the carefree laughter of the children. So students, I hope you remember the poem in detail. How in the first stanza we saw a beautiful scene of children playing in a green park and music of the bells from the church and the singing of the songs and the kids laughing, enjoying and playing. And the old people who were watching them, they remembered their own childhood, how they also used to play like this in the greens. And in the end, the echoing green changes into a darkening green. When the kids become weary, they get tired, they go back to their homes, sleep in the laps of their mothers. The birds also go to sleep in their nest. And now the echoing green is the darkening green. It is the end of the day. So in this poem, the poet has described not only the stages of the day, but of life also. Childhood is the initial stage of life and old age is the last stage of the life. Now let's move on and revise another aspect of the poem, that is the rhyme scheme. Rhyme scheme means how the last words of the lines rhyme together. Now in these lines, the last word of the first line rhymes with the last word of the second line. Arise, skies. Second rhymes with the third. Ring, spring. Thrush, bush. Round, sound. Seen and green. So we say that the rhyme scheme is AA, BB, CC, DD, EE. So these are the rhyming pairs of words, the two words which rhyme together. Like ring and spring, rhyming pair. Thrush and bush. This I would like to point out. This is not 100% rhyming. Only the last sound is rhyming. So in every stanza you can see hare and care, oak and folk, play and say, joys and boys, seen and green. In the last stanza, weary and merry, descend and mothers, brothers, nest, rest, seen and green. I hope you are clear about this point now. The rhyme scheme AA, BB, CC, DD and EE. So this is the first stanza. I'll read it once again for you. The sun doth arise and make happy the skies. The merry bells ring to welcome the spring. The skylark and thrush, the birds of bush, sing louder around to the bells' cheerful sound, while our sports shall be seen on the echoing green. The first question: name the poet and the poem. Name the birds which sing to welcome the spring. What purpose does the ringing of the merry bells serve in the poem? I'll take you back to the first stanza to do question number 2 and 3. The first one was mentioned in the beginning of the poem and in the last session also. For second and third, you can refer to the stanza. Please read the lines and find the answers. I hope you were able to find the answers. The first is, the poet is William Blake and the poem is The Echoing Green. This I told you in the very beginning. And the birds were skylark and thrush. What purpose does the ringing of the merry bells serve in the poem? What are they? You can read again. In the fourth line, to welcome the spring. The merry bells are ringing to welcome the spring. Question number 4. What arises at the beginning of the story and descends at the end? Options are the sun, bell, a bird, an oak tree. What is the setting of this poem? Setting means where the poem is, it is occurring, at which place. A bush where birds live, the nest of a bird, the home of old John, the echoing green. So here are the answers. What arises at the beginning of the story and descends at the end? Yes, the sun. What is the setting of this poem? It is the echoing green, the very name of the poem. If you had understood the poem, you must have done the answers correctly. Now, let's move on to stanza number 2. Let's read the lines once again. Old John with white hair does laugh away care, sitting under the oak among the old folk. They laugh at our play, and soon they all say, such were the joys when we all, girls and boys, in our youth time were seen on the echoing green. Question is, where was old John sitting? What did the old folk laugh away? What were the old folk reminded of while watching the children at play? Give 2 pairs of rhyming words in the given stanza. Read the questions. I will take you back to the stanza for the answers. Have a look at the stanza and find the answers. Let's check the answers. Where was old John sitting? Old John was sitting under an oak tree. What did the old folk laugh away? They laughed away their worries and problems. In the lines it was written care. The care means worries. What were the old folk reminded of while watching the children at play? They were reminded of their own childhood when they played in the echoing green. Give 2 pairs of rhyming words in the given stanza. There were many rhyming words. Hair and care, oak and folk. There were others also. You can write other answers. Hair and care, oak and folk, play and say, joys and boys, seen and green. These are all rhyming pairs. So let's move to stanza number 3. I'll read it once again. Till the little ones weary, no more can be merry. The sun does descend, and our sports have an end. Round the laps of their mothers, many sisters and brothers, like birds in their nest, are ready for rest, and sport no more seen on the darkening green. Here are the questions. Name the things that take rest at the end of the day. What does the words weary, descend, and end, and rest suggest? Let's go back to the stanza and find the answers. Let's check the answers. Name the things that take rest at the end of the day. Children, birds, men, and women take rest at the end of the day. What does the words weary, descend, and end, and rest suggest? What do they signify? They suggest that sports on the echoing green are going to an end. Next question is, why has the echoing green become the darkening green? Next question, name the figure of speech in the line, many sisters and brothers, like birds in their nests, are ready for rest. Options are personification, metaphor, simile, alliteration. Please answer only question number 3 for a while. So why has the echoing green become the darkening green? Let me take you back to the stanza. Okay. Now why I told you not to do the next question and wait for it? There's a reason behind it. Can you read the options given? Options of figures of speech. There are 4 options. Let's first discuss what is the meaning of these 4 figures of speech. Then we'll come back to these questions again. Figures of speech. The first figure of speech, this was an option given in the question, is alliteration. What is the meaning of alliteration? Alliteration is the repetition of the same sound, usually initial consonants of words in any sequence of words. Repetition of the same sound means कि same sound is coming again and again, and usually, not always, but usually the initial consonant. You know, there are 5 vowels and the rest consonants. You very well are aware of these. And examples with me. When the same consonant sound is repeated, it's alliteration. Landscape lover, lord of language. Can you see the sound? In the landscape, L, lover, L, lord, L, language, L. Landscape lover, lord of language. Now do you understand what is written? Repetition of the same sound, usually initial consonants of the words. This is called as alliteration. Here's another example. In a summer season when soft was the sun. It's not necessary that in every word the sound should be same. Most of the words. You can see here is sir sound, again sir, another sir, another sir. In a summer season when soft was the sun. 2 more examples. The terrible tiger tore the towel. The terrible tiger tore the towel. Crawl like a creepy crawly caterpillar. K sound. T here in this T is repeated. Here K is repeated. So this is the definition of alliteration, the repetition of the same sound. Simile. It's an explicit, means clear, साफ, comparison between two different things. दो चीज़ां दे विच तुलना करना, और वो तुलना बिल्कुल क्लियर साफ नजर आनी चाहिए. It can be a comparison between two things. It can be a comparison between two actions or feelings. And in the comparisons, mostly as or like words are used. For example, I wandered lonely as a cloud. एक बादल दी तरह, as a cloud. In the two pictures, you can see as busy as a bee, as brave as a lion. So simile is an explicit or a very clear comparison between two different things. बहुत आराम नाल कोई भी इस comparison नू देख सकता है. Personification. The very name suggests person. Person means vyakti. Personification is a figure of speech by which animals, abstract ideas or inanimate things are referred to as if they were human. ਕਿਸੇ ਵੀ ਆਈਡੀਆ, ਵਿਚਾਰ, ਇਨਐਨੀਮੇਟ ਥਿੰਗ, ਬੇਜਾਨ ਵਸਤੂ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਂ ਐਨੀਮਲਸ ਨੂੰ ਵਿਅਕਤੀ ਰੂਪ ਦੇ ਦੇਣਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਉਹ ਕੋਈ ਇਨਸਾਨ ਹੈ। तो पर्सन तो personification स्टूडेंट्स ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ याद रखना बहुत ईजी हो जाएगा। Always remember personification with the help of this person. So personification is a figure of speech by which animals, abstract ideas or inanimate things are referred to as if they were human. Example, the friendly shade. Shade ਛਾਂ है and friendly is a person. कोई पर्सन ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ फ्रेंडली ਹੁੰਦਾ ਹੈ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ ਬਹੁਤ ਅੱਛਾ ਦੋਸਤੀ ਵਾਲਾ ਸਲੂਕ ਕਰਦਾ ਹੈ, तो शेड ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਹਿ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ फ्रेंडली शेड. That means we are referring to the shade as if the shade is a person. This is personification. The sun happily greeted everyone. So can sun say hello, good morning, how are you? No, the sun cannot say. But in poetry we often use this kind of expressions. तो sun ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ personify ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ as if it is a human being. And look at this pencil. It looks so angry. The angry pencil. Now can a pencil be angry? ਤੁਹਾਡੀ pencil ਗੁੱਸੇ 'ਚ ਆ ਸਕਦੀ ਹੈ. But in poetry such expressions are used. So this is an example of personification, a figure of speech in which animals, abstract ideas or inanimate things are referred to as if they were human. And the fourth figure of speech is metaphor. Metaphor. Metaphor is a figure of speech in which there is an indirect, implied, hidden comparison between two things that share a common quality. Students, we did simile comparison. There was also comparison, but Udish, there was written clear comparison. Here it is a hidden comparison. Comparison hai, but nazar nahi aa raha. For example, he is as brave as a lion. It's simile. He is a lion. वो शेर है. It's metaphor. That man is like an angel. That man is an angel. This is a metaphor. He was a busy bee. Metaphor. You are my sunshine. Metaphor. So students, why we have discussed these figure of speech? Because in your examination you will get one question from whichever poem is in the exam. One question will be based on figures of speech. So we'll be revising it in every piece of poetry of the syllabus. So here I take you back to the question. The question was, name the figure of speech in the line, many sisters and brothers like birds in their nests are ready for rest. This is simile. How do we know? Because many sisters and brothers, they have been compared with birds in their nests, like, using the word like. So now you understand why we said that it is simile. So we missed question number 8. Why has the echoing green become the darkening green? The echoing green has become the darkening green because the sun sets and night falls. It is the end of the day. There is no more sunlight. Night has fallen. And all the kids and the old people, they have gone to their homes. So it has become a darkening green now. So I hope you enjoyed this post-reading activity. Let's move on to the next question. I give you a few seconds to do this. Write the central idea of the poem. You find it difficult? Or can you write it on your own? Do you want some help? Okay, here is some help for you. This is the central idea with the help of some blanks. Take your time. Fill in the blanks and write the central idea of the poem. I give you some time to solve this. It's not necessary that you have to write only these lines. This is just for your guidance. You can write some lines from your own also. This is just for your guidance. Please complete the central idea. Written? Okay, let's see. Central idea. The poem The Echoing Green is written by William Blake. The poem tells about 3 stages of life. The first stage is childhood or innocence. Rising sun, singing birds, playing children signify idea of childhood playfulness. The second stage is maturity. The old people in the ground remember their past. They see themselves in the playing children. Sunset, darkness, games coming to an end suggest death, the last stage of life. So dear students, I hope you were able to answer all the questions and write the central idea of the poem, and I hope you enjoyed the poem also, because without enjoyment the whole objective of studying poetry is lost. Poetry is to be enjoyed rather than to be studied. Yes, we have to do the critical analysis also for examination, but enjoyment is very important. So students, I hope you enjoy poetry. This is Varinder Kaur Sekho, lecturer in English, Government Senior Secondary School, Machli Kala, District Mohali, and the presentation is prepared by Arvind Kumar, lecturer in English, District Gurdaspur. So students, thank you so much. Keep studying, keep growing, keep smiling, take care of yourself. Thank you so much.